Hello.
Yes, sir. Very good morning, sir. Are we audible to you?
Yeah.
We will begin the session in the next 2 minutes, sir.
Okay. Rachel, could you just increase your voice? What I mean is volume.
Okay, sir.
Recording चालू करो. ते
Sir, am I audible now?
Yeah, you are perfectly audible, Rachel.
Thank you so much, sir. A very good morning to one and all present here. I, Mrs. Rachel Brito, Assistant Professor from HK College of Pharmacy, welcome you all for this webinar on entrepreneurship and innovations as career opportunity. We are pleased to have with us Mr. Pradeep Katre sir, who is an eminent speaker for this session. This webinar has been organized by Institute's Innovative Council of HK College of Pharmacy with an aim to develop interpersonal skills, enhance critical and creative thinking skills, and focus on entrepreneurship. Moving ahead, I would now like to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Pradeep Kadre sir. Sir has a dynamic pharmaceutical professional with a working experience of over 40 years in various capacities in healthcare industry. He is the managing director of Skytech Specialties and Skytech Healthcare Private Limited, president of Cypex Inc. USA, technical director of Tree Farm Kosovo. Sir has a wide experience in working in several pharmaceutical companies, such as Ranbaxy Laboratories Limited as a business manager, Middle East and Southeast, Allergen Inc. USA as a product manager, Lupin Limited as a marketing manager, Johnson and Johnson as a product manager, Associated Capsule Group as marketing executive, Roche Product Limited as managing trainee. With this brief introduction, I would now like to call upon our principal, Dr. M.N. Saraf sir, to kindly say a few words and welcome Pradeep Gadre sir on this occasion. Thank you.
Hello. Am I audible? Good morning, Mr. Pradeep Gadreji and my dear student friends. It's indeed a great privilege to have with us one of the renowned entrepreneurs who has unique qualities to be number one in the world by virtue of his unique formulations which are catering to the needs in the pharmaceutical industry, nutraceuticals, in various fields, including veterinary applications. And I'm talking about none other than the effervescent products manufacturer. We have with us Mr. Pradeep Gadre, who has these innovative abilities. And right from his start in the field as a trainee, he has grown up in various capacities in various pharmaceutical industries and started his own entrepreneur and the Business Innovation Center. Well, Maharashtra Education Society's HK College of Pharmacy, which was established in the year 2006 by the Professor Javed Khan, who founded this college with the mission that the young graduates should establish and develop their career in pharmaceutical field. Today is the age where the job opportunities, when they are there, but they are limited, and there is a need that the individual should enter into the field of entrepreneurship and innovation. With this idea in the mind, the entrepreneurship cell of HK College of Pharmacy decided to have this program for the benefit of the students. I am grateful to Mr. Pradeep Gadre for spending his valuable time for the benefit of our students. I don't want to come in the way. I would now request the organizers to go ahead with the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Proceeding ahead for the webinar.
Thank you, Professor Achal, Professor Sunanda, and my friend Dr. Saraf. It's a great pleasure to interact with the students and to the one of the premier institute of pharmacy education in Mumbai, and soon it will be in Maharashtra also, in form of HK College of Pharmacy. Students, I try and see if we will be able to cultivate a sort of entrepreneurship practices in these students, so that rather than asking for job, they should be able to provide job to the budding pharmacists and to the other professionals who are required to manage the business. So let me start and share my few feelings as far as the topic on entrepreneurship and innovation as career opportunity. Can we move the slide, please? Yeah. Now, what is entrepreneurship? There are several definitions mentioned. And in the next slide, I'll be giving you the bookish definition, whatever is mentioned as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. But in my mind, the real entrepreneurship is a challenging path as an entrepreneur is entrepreneurship. So here we are trying to work it out on three different definitions or three different words what we are trying to. Adapting challenging path. Now, that means the path which an entrepreneur is required to take up is always challenging. So an entrepreneur is required to adapt to this challenging path so that he will be able to, on the path of his journey. Let's now also work it out. What is an entrepreneur? There are several book definitions of entrepreneur. But to my mind, the most apt definition is an entrepreneur is somebody who jumps mid-air out of aeroplane, creates his own parachute, and lands safely on the ground. My fellow student friends, I request you, this is not a bookish definition, but a definition entrepreneur who jumps mid-air out of aeroplane. This means that an entrepreneur is a risk taker. Anybody who is trying to jump out of aeroplane when aeroplane is in the air, that means he or she will have to take a lot of decision as to why he or she is jumping out. So the first thing which comes to the mind of an entrepreneur or should come to mind of an entrepreneur that he or she should be risk taker. So you take a risk and jump out of aeroplane. When you are jumping out of aeroplane midair, it will certainly that unless and until you will have a parachute, you are going to crash on the ground and obviously you are going to die. But entrepreneur is a person who creates his own parachute. That means he adapts to the situation, generates a favorable situation for himself or herself, and lands safely on the ground. Now, land safely, meaning that he is in a position to be successful as an entrepreneur, starting from various stages of entrepreneurship, ultimately leading to the success. So first and foremost thing which should come to your mind is, are you willing to jump out of aeroplane? Are you willing to create a parachute? And then do you have desire to land safely on the ground? Now, while landing safely on the ground, there are many a times crashes. That means entrepreneurs also fail. But if failure is a rule as far as the initial entrepreneuring is concerned, are you willing to fight it out, get on to the next aeroplane and again try and jump it out? These are basic requirements. So an entrepreneur is required to be first a risk taker and then risk averter also. How risk averter? Because of creating your own parachute and with complete desire to land safely onto the ground. Then let's try and work it out or understand what is innovation. Innovation is doing something with out of the box thinking. So any innovation has to start with thinking first. So the moment you think, if you are thinking on a normal path, then after say completing your B.Pharm or M.Pharm or even PhD, what will you do? You will try and get into some sort of working for somebody, some sort of employment that will be thinking inside the box. But innovation will mean if you are thinking out of the box, then only you can be called as an innovator. Now, innovation, when we talk about, these innovations will be of various types, like product innovation, place innovation, process innovation. Disruption is also an innovation, and thinking for all these is also an innovation. Now, as we move forward, we will understand the importance of each and every innovation, what we are talking about. Developing new product, which is not yet been developed, is an innovation, or trying to sell a product in a place which is not sold is also called as an innovation. Developing a new process for manufacture of the earlier developed product is also an innovation. And totally thinking as to what something is not done, you should try and do it, is disruption. And this disruption, or for entire of this process, what you require is out of the box thinking. Next, please. Now, when we are talking about entrepreneurs, what are the different types of entrepreneurs? What can be? One will be called as privileged entrepreneur. Second, diehard entrepreneurs. Third, promising entrepreneurs, potential entrepreneurs, reluctant entrepreneurs, and not entrepreneurs at all. So let us understand what are these different types of entrepreneurs. There is one group which is called as privileged entrepreneurs. Privileged entrepreneurs are possibly the second and third generation of the entrepreneurs in a family. That means those entrepreneurs who are having family background of entrepreneuring or family background of business, these will be called as privileged entrepreneurs. Second group is a die-hard entrepreneurs, meaning that from privileged entrepreneurs also, there are many youngsters who do not want to get into family business or who do not want to even continue with the family business. They would like to do something different. And these will be die-hard entrepreneurs. From these die-hard entrepreneurs comes a group which is called as promising entrepreneurs, meaning these entrepreneurs, they take it up onto themselves that I will promise myself or I will commit myself to do something different. So those will be promising and potential entrepreneurs. Now, these potential entrepreneurs are the entrepreneurs who wait for the opportunity. The moment they complete their education, they may not directly get into entrepreneuring, that is starting something on your own, but they will wait for the opportune time. And those opportune time are called as potential entrepreneurs. Then comes a group of entrepreneurs which are called as reluctant entrepreneurs, meaning that you may have background, you may have family background as well as the financial backing as far as the entrepreneuring is concerned, but maybe sheer because of their inertia, they don't want to get into the entrepreneurship. So they will be reluctant entrepreneurs. And then these reluctant entrepreneurs get into a category of not entrepreneurs at all. So whenever you would like to get into entrepreneurship without having a specific background, you may even think of being an entrepreneur, but rather than jumping it out directly, you prepare yourself to start from the stage of potential entrepreneurship and get into something which is really worthwhile. Next, please. Now, whenever we are trying to talk as far as the entrepreneurship is concerned, what are the prerequisites of an entrepreneur? The first and foremost thing is prerequisite is fire in belly and dreams with passion in heart. What is the meaning of fire in belly? That means right from the beginning, once you will have real desire to do something, then that may be called as fire in belly. And this fire in belly doesn't come normally as a standard thing. It emerges from necessity, as well as it emerges from something called as dreams. But then mere dreams does not give you any results. And these dreams with passion in heart, that means desire to do something, are the basic prerequisites as far as your entrepreneurs are concerned. Meaning, if you are trying to seek an easy life, then that means you don't have fire in belly. You may be just dreaming, but that achieve or try to complete the dreams, achieve the dreams is not great in your desire. That means you don't have great passion in heart. So entrepreneurship cannot be successful unless until these things. For anything to do, and specifically for an entrepreneur, there are three basic things which are required. One is passion, second is purpose, and third, most important, is profit. So, as I mentioned, if you have desire to do something, if you really want to do something, that is called as passion. But then, unless and until this passion is with purpose and profit, it cannot be called as entrepreneuring, it cannot be called as business. So passion, you can call it as maybe a hobby. Merely with hobby, you cannot become an entrepreneur. So what you require is a purpose as to why your entrepreneurship or why your organization should succeed. So if you have a purpose, with only purpose, if you are trying to do something, then it will be called as social work. But when passion and purpose is associated with profit, then only your venture or your dream, you can convert it into a real enterprise, or you can really become an entrepreneur if you have all the three things together. At the same time, just try and remember, as to whenever you are trying to create any business entity, whether that business entity is a viable entity, whether it is a scalable entity, and whether it is a multipliable entity. All these three things are very, very essential. Now let's go back on to work it out onto as to what is a passion. Like as a pharmacist, if I have to talk about some of my friends who have become successful entrepreneurs, they were so keen to get into entrepreneuring that they did not wait for their even education to be completed. Even while they were studying, they decided to get into business because they had tremendous passion to do something in. But then many of these people, only with passion, they failed because they didn't have purpose. Why should it be, or why should your enterprise, why should your organization should succeed? Because they didn't have purpose onto it. So if you will create a purpose and passion, it has to be blended with profit. And remember one very specific thing, profit making is an excellent thing. You have to have profit. Your business module must generate profit. Then only your entrepreneuring venture will be successful. Then comes again to the what is called as viable business. Viable business means a business which is likely to succeed. So before getting into any of these things, you have to check up viability. Most of the people, they try and get into business because X is successful. Don't try to be a copycat because X business module is successful. It is not necessary that you will succeed in the same business module. Your personality is different. Your resources are different. So with your personality and your resources, somebody else's business module may not be suitable to you, so it may not be viable. Now you have got into a viable business module, but whether that business is a scalable business. Now this scalable business has to have another aspect is multipliable. An entrepreneur cannot succeed unless and until the business which he or she is getting into is scalable. That means, can you increase the business from 1 to 2 and 2 to 4? That means, can you multiply the business? The moment your business is in position to multiply itself, then only it will be a viable business model. So understand very specifically that as a prerequisites, all these three things are very much required. And those who have all these three prerequisites in place can think of becoming a successful entrepreneur. Next, please. I think there is something in between. Just go back, please. Yeah, sorry, the next one. Yeah. Okay. Now, just in the last discussion, I have mentioned that you require specific skills for to be a successful entrepreneur. Now, what are these entrepreneurial skills? First and foremost is business management. You must know how the business manages or how the business is run. This business, unless and until you develop these management skills, you just cannot initiate onto the entrepreneurial one. Next comes communication and active listening. Most of the time, we are good communicator, but then these communicators still do not become a successful entrepreneur because they are not active listeners. Most of the time, you will realize that you are listening to respond, not to understand. So there is a big difference between active listening for understanding and active listening for responding. So rather than just getting into active listening for responding, it's better that you will get into active listening for understanding and then responding. The third more skill required will be risk taking. As starting right from the entrepreneur definition, when we are talking about an entrepreneur jumps midair from the airplane, meaning what? An entrepreneur is willing to take the risk. Unless and until an entrepreneur is willing to take the risk, the chance of success are very, very less. Many of the entrepreneurs, they come to me, they ask the question as to tell me a model or tell me a business where I will definitely be able to succeed. Now, there is no one way by which somebody will be able to succeed. And while if all of you are trying to be an entrepreneur, just remember, they always say elevator to the success is out of order. So you have to go one step at a time. Once you decide to go one step at a time, then only your chances of success are increasing. So risk-taking has to be the basic one. At the same time, you need to take calculative risk. What is the difference between a risk-taking and a calculative risk-taking? When you are trying to jump out of the plane, you must have adequate knowledge as to how you will be able to create a parachute. Unless and until you will have adequate knowledge of creating your own parachute, that risk will be a wrong risk. And it's better not to take a wrong risk. So what will be then calculative risk? Calculative risk will be a complete knowledge how you will be able to even build parachute midair. That will be calculative risk. So as an entrepreneur, try to learn to take calculative risk. than just a suicidal risk, what is normally called as. Entrepreneur has to work with several people. So networking in entrepreneurship is very, very important. That means you must try to make friends, or you must try to be friendly with the people who really matters as far as business is concerned. So networking, critical thinking is a thinking which comes over as to what is the calculative risk and what is not the calculative risk. That is determined with your critical thinking. Problem solving and creative thinking has to go hand in hand. Always remember, for a definable problem, there is a creative solution. Many a times in our normal life also, we feel that this is a problem and there is no solution. It is unlikely that there is a problem and there is no solution. There is always solution possible, but our mind does not want to think on that, or our mind does not want to accept that solution. So we feel that there is no solution, and we always say that it's impossible. But everybody, all of you must have heard the saying that there is no word called as impossible, because impossible word, if you will bifurcate, it also mentions I am possible. So I am, you segregate and you will realize that there is nothing impossible. Only thing is that our mind should think it creatively, and with problem solving as the basic thinking, we have to go ahead. As a part of networking and as a part of basically entrepreneurship, meaning that you have to develop sense of servicing a customer. So sense of developing a customer certainly means that you should be willing to sell. Most of the technocrats like me at initial stages, we thought that, oh, my basic job or my basic creativity is in technology. So even if I cannot sell, I'll still be able to succeed as an entrepreneur. But please remember, your technology or your technical capabilities is 40%. Your marketing and selling capabilities are 60%. So unless and until you will learn yourself how to sell a product, how to provide a customer service, you won't be able to succeed. So all technical entrepreneurs, or who would like, technocrats who would like to be entrepreneur, please try to learn the selling skills. Without selling skills, no entrepreneur can succeed. An entrepreneur, at whatever level you may be, you are required to sell. So whether you may be required to sell inside or you may be required to sell outside the company. So there will be inside customers who will be your employees, who will be your colleagues, but you must develop skills to sell it to them also, as you have to develop skills to sell to the outsiders. Financial, yes, during our B.Pharm or M.Pharm courses, we don't have any linking or any inclination towards learning finance. But finance, everybody understands that it is the most important thing, and an entrepreneur has to have complete tab on what is financial, what is normally required. And in this normal requirement, you may not be wizard or you may not be expert in everything as far as financials are concerned, but at least you must know what is product costing, and based on this product costing, how will you be able to price your product, and the gap between your actual cost and price works out to be your profit. So you have to understand whatever are the profit you are making, is it sufficient for you to go ahead, or the profit what you are making is too low or too high. These understandings are very much required. And last skills of leadership, time management, and organizational skills are equally important like your technical skills. Again, it is always presumed that entrepreneurs are born. No way. Entrepreneurs are not born. Entrepreneurs are made. There is no hospital in this world which basically gives certificate at the birth of a baby that yes, an entrepreneur is born. So everybody gets the same certificate, a birth certificate. So at birth, you are nobody. You have to learn, and these learning through your basic qualities of either technical, financial, or both together can literally make you a successful entrepreneur. So all these qualities are very essential. Weightage to these qualities will be different. But one of the major quality required also, which is not listed, is you must be a team person. You must be a team creator. Unless and until you are in a position to create a team, an entrepreneur is unlikely to succeed. So understand all these skills required, and once you will just take on these skill sets, your chance of succeeding will be very high. Next, please. Now, how to improve these entrepreneur skills? I have given a very big list. How do you improve these entrepreneur skills? These entrepreneur skills, I will just still add one more thing into it. Now, to do anything, you require will and the skill. If you have will, then you will be able to develop the skill. But if you only have skill and if you don't have will, then you will not be able to do anything. You will fail, whether as an employee as well as an employer also, that is an entrepreneur also. So the first thing what is really required for succeed as an entrepreneur is will to succeed. You must have dogged desire to succeed. Unless and until you will have dogged desire to succeed, the chances of your success will be much, much lesser. Let me give very concrete example of just recent World Cup semi-final between England and our India. England had tremendous desire and will to succeed, that is win. Whereas where our Indian team lacked was will to win. We wanted to win, but we did not had, or we did not at that particular moment developed will to succeed. We wanted England to lose rather than we to win. So our entire approach towards game was let England lose so that we will win. Whereas England played with a very positive approach that we want to win. So ultimately, when they wanted to win, failure has to, or we are going to fail, and we did happen in that particular manner. Everything is will to do something. Now, if you have will to do, how will you develop this skill? For skill development, the simple things will be you read business books. Now, not only business books, there are business movies also. Now, there are movies on our Indian entrepreneurs as well as there are movies on the international entrepreneurs. One of the most excellent movie for entrepreneurship success is on Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is a person who created Apple. And Steve Jobs' career is such a dramatic career that he started a company and this company went into bankruptcy, so he was thrown out of the company. He learned from his mistake and created another company, which he made it to ensure that that company will succeed. And his success rose to such an extent that his old company, that is Apple, they requested him to be bought out. So Steve Jobs again bought out his old company, Apple. And then Learning from his mistake, he went to become possibly the most innovative entrepreneur in the world. Today's I series, whatever he's having, starting right from iPod to iPad to Mac Air, and all these are the success stories of Steve Jobs. But it will be desirable that you will be able to read books about Steve Jobs, as well as you can read the books even of our own great Indian entrepreneurs, like books written on Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani. How he succeeded, how he created something, it's worthwhile reading. So business books reading will allow you or will improve your entrepreneurial skill. You can also enroll in a course. There are several small courses which are happening, both the physical courses, that means offline courses, and COVID has taught us a new way, that is online courses. Today, whatever I am talking, it's coming to you online. So this is a new way of even learning and listening. So enroll in a course which provides this. This will allow you also to sharpen your entrepreneur skills. There are workshops which are conducted both by the professional organizations as well as the companies who would like to maybe even promote their products. So even while promoting their products, if you attend these workshops, you understand the basics, whatever you are supposed to know, and these basics are the practical things which are required to succeed as an entrepreneur. Again, as you are attending the workshops or even enrolling in a course, you can also listen to the podcast. Again, this is a new thing. My generation was never exposed to something called as podcasts. But then today, even in your college, one of the person who is really keeping himself to the best of the information in technology is Professor Saraf. Although initial stages, he was not exposed to the new technologies of webinars and even podcasts, etc., he mastered it. So he is basically sharpening his skill as a technocrat. Similarly, you can even hire an experienced business mentor who will be able to even help you to sharpen your skills. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah. Now, with this, I wanted to just close by saying one thing. Easiest task in the world is to work for others or be an employee of a company. But the most difficult task in the world is to work for yourself. As an entrepreneur, you are required to work for yourself. Easiest task, as I mentioned, is to work for somebody. The moment you work for somebody, the moment you are an employee of a company, you have got everything in the world to complain about. You will be able to complain about your boss, because boss is the worst thing in this world. I could not grow because I had a bad boss. I could not grow or I could not do well because my colleagues were not good. They were not responsive. My company was bad. So you will be able to blame everyone if you are an employee. But if you are an employer or if you are an entrepreneur, and that too innovative entrepreneur, then you will not be able to complain. So it is the most difficult task. But if you decide to get into this difficult task of innovative entrepreneurship, it is most satisfying and even most rewarding. So create basically fire in your belly and you will be able to succeed, because entrepreneurs are not born, entrepreneurs are created through hard work. This is what I would like to share with my student friends, and there is nothing more satisfying than entrepreneurship. I can say so after working for almost 21 years in the industry. when I decided to jump out, today I feel that I should have done it even earlier also, but nevertheless, I'm absolutely satisfied. So my entrepreneurship or my entrepreneuring journey is absolutely okay. This is what I want to say. Thank you very much. All the best to the budding entrepreneurs.
Thank you very with a question answer session because our students want to interact with you.
Yeah,
So our student will ask the question and please guide them.
okay.
Student, we have allowed you to unmute yourself. You ask your question to sir.
Whatever may be your questions, please, if I can answer, it will be great for me.
Student, unmute yourself and ask the question to sir. We have made the settings so you can unmute yourself and ask the question to sir. Sir, please wait because students are trying to connect with you, but they are unable to connect with you.
Oh. From my side, everything is clean. If
Yes,
they
sir, from your side.
write it in the chat box also, so that I'll be able to see it.
Yes, sir. Student, you can chat in chat box. Your question you can type in chat box.
Ali, if you cannot unmute, you just write your question and I'll answer it.
Can you see this question written?
Yeah, I think Kushal Sheth has asked question. If we don't have investment for startup, how should we proceed with the startup? Yeah, now let me give you, there are various ways by which you will be able to get the finance for a startup. If your business plan is good, then there are several organizations, there are several people, and there are even trusts who are willing to be angel investors as far as your startup is concerned. Yeah, see, Ali is asking, with regards to business management, can you please share some technological tools to manage risk analysis? Yes, risk analysis is one of the major part. As a pharmacist, when I decided to be an entrepreneur, I really worked into the niche area as to what is that niche area where I feel the competition is less. And I realize that there is, although in solid dosage form, there is tremendous competition, one dosage form, that is effervescent product, there is least competition. So I decided to plunge into manufacture and marketing of effervescent product. That is the risk mitigation. I tried and worked it out. So one of the tool or the basic tool is to understand what is happening in the market. If you will try and find out what is happening in the market, then it becomes easier for you to mitigate, that is, avoid the risk, get into something which is less risky.
I hope the student has cleared their doubts. Now we are proceeding towards the end of the session. Let's vote of thanks. I'm thankful to my committee member, Ms. Rachel and Dr. Geeta, for giving me an opportunity to give a note of thanks. It is an honor and privilege to give a note of thanks for this auspicious event. My gratitude and sincere thanks to our management for constant support and encouragement. I'm thankful to my committee members and my heartfelt thanks to our event speaker, Mr. Pradeep Gadre, for his motivating word and valuable time. His word of wisdom will be helpful to our student for his professional path. Sir, I'm hoping for your good association in future as well. I am thankful to our principal, Dr. M.N. Saraf. He is a driving force for this event. We are thankful to our HOD, Dr. Indira Parab, Department of Pharmaceutics, and our all faculty members for their constant encouragement. We are thankful to our non-teaching staff as well. We are thankful to Mr. Manish for his constant technical support. A big thank you to our student volunteers, Ms. Akanksha and team for making this event grand success. Last but not the least, thank you to our students for their sincere listening. Thank you, one and all, who are directly and indirectly associated with this event. Thank you, sir.
गरजू बंद गरजू का बंद
Sir, sir,
Yeah.
sir, two more students want some interaction with you.
Okay. I have shared my number. They can me and then we will be able to work it out.
No
My
problem. Sir.
email ID is already there. You can even share the email ID and then we'll be able to take it further on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thanks
so
for
Hoping
much.
for a
giving me
good
chance.
association in future as well, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Rachel, thank you.
Thank you, sir.